Okay, guess we are live. Welcome back to the channel, people. My name is Patrick. This is my first time streaming live session with you guys on the New York session. Glad to be here. Hopefully, we could catch a few trades while I'm here. So I've got a small window to be able to trade before I go and pick up my kids. I've already traded today, the London session. I said I was going to hang out, have a look in the New York session, see what's available. And if there's a trading opportunity, I will take one. If not, it's cool. So I've already made something today, so I'm okay. I'm not trying to push it. So right now, I'm aware there is news in about 30 minutes. So I'm going to sit on my hands a little bit and watch what's going on and give a bit of a market recap and tell you guys what I'm looking for. Okay, so let's get started with that. So I'll start with gold. Was looking at gold earlier in the London session. It was selling from here, had a sell from there. I said it could get to this demand, and in this demand is where I would expect a buying opportunity if it reverses and breaks structure. So sitting in demand, slowed down considerably, and maybe it's the news catalyst it needs now to get that break in structure. So what I would like to see is a break in the H1 structure, and I'll look for a buy in gold. So far, haven't got that. Kind of like go for that. It's quite transparent. None of this fake breakouts and stuff as often as some of the other instruments. I'm going to be having a look at some NASDAQ and US30. I was doing some back testing just before I jumped on stream because I wanted to find a systematic way to approach, to trade it, because this is my systematic account. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to do so. So I have two accounts I'm trading. I've got a systematic one and a discretionary. So the systematic one is a prop firm challenge and the discretionary is a demo account. I'm on the systematic one now, which is the prop firm challenge. So really, I should only be doing setups that are back tested and I know the results. Unfortunately, I cannot view the live data on my demo account. So I'm just going to be here on the prop firm challenge and just trade that and just reduce my risk as I am trying something new with different instruments. And I normally don't trade this session, so I'm going to be a bit more cautious. So I was looking for a buy here. As you can see, just selling off. It's still a bit too early. We've got 3 minutes before New York session to start. We'll see what the next H1 candle wants to do. Whether it does want to pull up and break the structure and the buy gives me the opportunity for a buy, or if it wants to continue to break underneath this low, and then the buy will come once it gets down to this demand here. So I've been eyeing up this demand for a while. So that's where price broke structure. So it was downtrending, broke structure here. And since it broke these highs, I think it's like a triple high here. It has never returned. And that's where I would have expected a buy to continue to go up from here. But as you can see, it just continued without it. And now it looks like it's heading down towards it. So I am inclined to sell it, but it's just a bit too hard to manage your risk selling it from here. Sell it to one of these lows, have your stop loss on the previous H1 candle. That's more or less what I did when it broke out here. But that will then push it towards here. That will be the move, that will be the target. But I'm not going to jump in a demand. I'm not going to jump in for a sell in a demand zone. I'd rather wait for it to get down here and look for the buy there. That's something I prefer to do. Reason being is managing risk. If I'm jumping in here, stop loss is there. It could hold. But we've got news in about 30 minutes. And price has been sitting here for the last 3 hours. So I'm just going to sit on my hands in regards to gold. What I'm looking for is a buy. I'm not going to sell it to here. I just don't trust the risk. I'll look for a buy if it gets here within this trading session. Hopefully it does. And I'm able to do that on stream. So that's what I'm seeing for gold. Let's have a look at NASDAQ. So NASDAQ, let's see. So I said earlier in London session, potential buying opportunity for NASDAQ. This is a trend going down, pole and flag, poles, flags, poles out. It should really flag into here and pole out from here to continue this trend. But as you can see, broke the structure when it beat this high here. So it then pulled back in there using that high as support and it's pushed up. So it's an argument for a buy. But like I said in the London session, I would prefer the buy from down here. So I had it marked out. If price comes all the way down here, maybe I could get a buy entry there and then push it up to try to fill this imbalance and maybe these equal highs above here. Because overall, I am bullish on NASDAQ and you can see why. Trending up, reversal from here, and we've got triple highs up there. So overall, I'm bullish on NASDAQ, but it needs to show me something before I could jump into a trade. My preferred entry would be down here, not up here in the supply zone. It's more likely to be sold down than it is to go up from here. Doesn't mean it can't go up. It's just more likely to be sold down before it goes up. And especially with the news catalyst that's due in about 29 minutes, I'm more inclined to wait for the sell to find a buy to go back up. But the buy is a bit risky because you've got this imbalance here. So very risky setup on NASDAQ, so I'm not going to be trading that unless I see some price action on M5 that confirms my bias that it is looking to continue its uptrend, and maybe I'll jump in for a trade on NASDAQ. Let's see what else we've got here. US30 shaping up exactly like NASDAQ, so maybe it's the same play. Can't really say for now. Too early to say. I think the key is just to wait for the news catalyst and see what happens. And you probably could catch a momentum trade if you do have a bias and see where that goes. Okay, so FTSE, I'm bearish on FTSE. This big gap here needs to be filled. So looking at it at London session, I did not want to jump in for a sell or buy because it just didn't make much sense. But now it's created some structure on M5. Pushing up, taking that higher now, and it's reverse. So I'm inclined to sell that to try to get underneath this low, and maybe I'll do that now. I get underneath this low and fill this gap because it just doesn't make no sense for it to be bought here. The only concern would be the news catalyst. So I may just sell this though. I do like the trade. Yeah, I'm gonna sell this. Try to get underneath. Small position. Just what I see what's going on. Let me make sure I got this right. Let's do small position. Sell for the NASDAQ. No, so FTSE. And let's see if we could get some of this gap filled. Stop loss is above the high. At least now I've got a high to place my stop loss at. And we'll see if this little reversal holds 88.26. Okay, so small position. Let's see if we could fill some of this gap here. It could use this as support and continues uptrend, but it's done that already and it's come back. If it doesn't hold, this is next support potentially. So I'm going to try run it down to 8744. Probably take partials on the way. If not, close the position. 87. Okay. So not asking for much. Let's see how it plays out. Just makes sense to fill some of this gap. Hopefully the market's in agreement. Very risky getting in before news, but the news is really US based. Shouldn't affect FTSE too much. And I'm basing it more on price action. Had a little trend here, pushes up. Here's an indication for buyers to get in. Broke structure, push down. So maybe it's going for these lows as well. And that's what I'm basing it on. And then the target you've got all of this inefficiency here, this gap, maybe it fills in there and reverses somewhere in there. So we'll see how long it goes. I'll try and trail it down. If it does push in within that gap, there's an argument for a buy, but that's not a buy I would be willing to take. So I'd rather sell it in this situation and see it get underneath this low and see if it wants to go further to fill this gap today. Let's see. Keep an eye on that one. Essentially for it to continue its trend. And DAX, I've been trying to sell it. I've been trying to sell it from here, but it's just not moving. So DAX is at highs. So it broke out London session. I was looking for a sell, just didn't come. So maybe it comes here, maybe not. Gonna see. It's created some structure. It's created equal highs as well. So I might be inclined to believe it's a buy, but I'm not going to be buying this from up here. I'd rather wait for another day than buying this. I mean, you buy this, where's your stop loss? Underneath here, very easy to stop me out and then continue. So that's not where I'm going to be buying it if it is a buy. If it's a sell, I need to see a break structure here, reversal. We have no H1. Yeah, it looks more like a buy, but I'm not buying that. There's H1 trend here. It's still being respected. Broke it a little bit, but it's not convincing. And because of that, I would say this is just a pullback and it's going to continue pushing up. So there is a buy there, but I can't place my stop loss underneath here. It's just too close. It's already stopped. Would already stop me out if I was underneath here, right? Equal lows, yeah, probably stopped me out before it pushes up. Can't have my stop loss there. That being said, if DAX is pushing, does that mean FTSE is following it? Potentially. I still just don't like this. I don't like this for a buy. Not with all of this underneath it. Even though they are in the same region, they don't exactly trade or move exactly the same. They are different instruments, so you need to treat them accordingly. See what's going on in Euro. So I was actually looking at this Euro buy. This is my systematic setup here. And I was waiting for it to break this candle, and it has finally done so. Could buy that, but with the news catalyst just around the corner, to see it being just waiting here for that news catalyst to drive it down. These are equal lows. If it wasn't for the news catalyst and we had cleaner price action, that would be my entry for a buy, but I'm gonna leave that one as well. Just don't trust what's going on with the news. Never know how it plays. It could just stop me out, then go. So what I was looking for, why I was looking for the buy, is trending up, created equal highs here. It's pulled back into this demand zone. So I had this marked up from this top here to this low. I was saying in the London session, could be bought from here. Just needed to see a reversal. Got the reversal here, but it's not clean. I really don't like that. And we are 12 minutes away from news now, so I'm going to let this potential buy, if it is, go because of the risk. I was in that trade already. I'll got it out, I'll show you. So I got it in here. I got it out here. I just thought, no, it's not worth it. Not worth the risk. I took a small loss. Stop loss underneath there. Would have stayed in the move. And potentially that's the move to buy, but just wasn't worth it. Not with, well, it was worth it back then, but I would have stayed in for another 3 hours. And it wasn't worth it because I had already won on a few sell opportunities on Euro this morning. This is a potential buy, but news again. I'm gonna wait. So yeah, it looks like everyone just sitting around waiting for the news. DAX looks poised to be sold. FTSE's already moved down and it's a cleaner price action for the sell. Gold could be bought, still a chance. Let's see what happens with this H1 candle here. If this H1 candle breaks, that's a clean buy for me. So I might be inclined to jump in on gold. That's the cleanest thing I've seen so far. NASDAQ, too early. And staying with US30. So I'm going to keep an eye on gold. That looks like a potential reversal. What I prefer to trade. We've got price action here. We have structure here. Created a low here. Pulls up here. Should sell from here. If it doesn't continues and breaks this high, then I'm buying it. And hopefully, whether it's news or not, news doesn't stop me out and goes in my direction. But I will be buying if it breaks this high. Let's see how this plays out. Potential buy in gold. Just need a little bit more confirmation. Gonna put a small piece on this. High risk just before the news, but this is the only trading opportunity I could see. So if I'm gonna take anything other than the FTSE trade, it will be this. Just waiting for confirmation based on price action. Very early, very tempted to jump in now, but try to be a little bit disciplined and wait for this entry. Let me assess my risk. Be interesting to see what happens with the next 5-minute candle. I'm expecting it to be a sell. It sells and the following 5-minute candle pushes up, maybe breaks that structure that I'm waiting for. And yeah, we'll enter. I mean, it's been trying to break the structure a few times. As you can see, there was an attempt there, didn't hold, just got underneath it. Attempt there, didn't hold. Let's see if it does do it within this session. 15 more minutes before news. Poised to take this buy. Just need to see a little bit more on gold, and yeah. Okay, so DAX is poised to be sold as well. It's held, even though these are triple highs, it's held, and maybe it's going to be sold into this demand or the one further down. So now that's looking better. If it is coming down, hopefully the FTSE's in line with it. FTSE pulled up into this supply, maybe from there is where it's definitely where I would expect it to be sold from now. It could go up into the previous one, so that's why my stop loss is above the swing high where this structure was created, where it broke it. And I see this drive down. Makes sense. Let's see if we could get it. It looks like everyone's sitting around waiting for news catalyst. I'm going to jump into the buy for gold now. It is early, but maybe it's a reduced risk if I am in a little bit earlier. And then I have my stop loss just at the swing low. Let's see, hopefully it's not too early. Okay, 287. Almost equal highs. I should have waited. Small risk. Should have waited for the break and structure, but got a limited amount of time to trade, so forcing it a bit for the stream, but I'm gonna have to trust, or hopefully trust the initial read that it's getting ready to break structure. It's been trying to do so a few times. It's in demand, trying to do so again. It's giving me everything I need to see. And then there's a news catalyst due. Maybe that news catalyst pushes it. If I get a break in structure, TP partials at least, it's where I could see, like to see price get to this supply zone. Ultimately, I want to see above here and continue. Is it still trending up? Yep, still trending up. Continuous uptrend. Underneath here will be the break of the uptrend, making this a potential reversal. I don't like it for a reversal with this gap here. But then again, it may just go down further here to be bought. So that's the risk in that. But definitely buy. Definitely buy. I'm happy for the buy. Just should have waited for the break of the previous H1 candle to confirm the move. This high to be broken. And that would have confirmed the change in structure. And the way price was moving a bit aggressively now, that's why I thought maybe volume's about to kick in. And I definitely don't want to miss this entry. Been waiting for it for a while, so I don't want to miss it. If we break this high, that would be the signal. Let me just get my positions up. Might need to close the FTSE. Okay. So not massive risk at all on this one. And the FTSE is small risk as well. So it's less than, both trade less than 0.5 of the count size. So it's not the end of the world if I lose it. But if I do win it, very happy for the win. So 10 minutes before the news catalyst. Let me just check what it is, if it's going to be significant. Okay, durable goods orders. Yeah, it's meant to be significant. And we've got consumer confidence index later. So I'll probably just stick around for the first one. I'm not trading news. I'm just trading price action. Hopefully news does not affect what I've read. And it continues in the direction I've perceived it to be going in. Still hasn't broken that high. Bit of a concern, but that's the risk I took. Want to see it break this high. See what's going on, FTSE. So FTSE pushed back into my direction. DAX is pushing up. Maybe FTSE's bought here, but still, I just don't trust the fact that's got such a gap here. If it is long-term bullish, this is a great opportunity to fill this gap. So I'm going to put, yeah, I've got my TP set. I'll put my TP just in case we get a big drive before it pushes up based on the news catalyst. That's very possible. Let's see what happens. Let's see on M1, make sure there is a reversal pattern here. Breaking structure on M1 here, pushes up to the supply. Previous supply has been used, that's good. Just trying to get above it now, pulled down, that should be the sell if it was continuing. And if I see it get above here, then that would have been confirmation for the entry. If it could get up, if it could get above here, confirmation for the entry. Still a bit early. Hopefully it just pushes, get above and start moving. Reward me for my patience in the London session. Okay, I think we've got an entry signal on gold now. I feel that qualifies if it holds above this high that's about to break. If it holds above this high, I don't see any reason it doesn't take this high, and that's a significant one. That's what the main high I want to see taken. If it holds up, if it breaks this, then I'll be more comfortable in the move. And I would be inclined to add to my position, but because this is, I don't know, 5th, 6th trade today, I don't want to do too much. To be cautious in my approach. 6 minutes. Let's see what happens. We'll need it to break this high. So far, so good with FTSE's doing what it's expected. Let's see, gold. Okay, quick look at the others. Yeah, nothing going on US30 or NASDAQ. There you go. The Euro trade is finally broke structure and it's moving up. This is the first resistance I would expect it to get up to. Actually, no, that was the first. This little would have been 10 pips. That would have been my structural setup that I was waiting for. Just didn't give it. Took a small loss. Can't remember how much on it. I closed it because I was impatient, but it's fine. Made something today. Got a little bit more hopefully with this gold trade. Come on, gold. Don't let Euro have all the fun. Let's see what's going on with the FTSE 1. It's only the FTSE 1 not too not as confident with. Really, I'm just trying to see it fill this gap before it continues up, but it's just the structure I'm taking it based on. More confident with the gold trade. Gonna find out what happens in the next 4 minutes. Still hasn't broke the structure, still hasn't broke the previous H1. Still waiting on that. And I just have to be patient. I'm reassured in the fact that I'm not over leveraged. Just need to see it break this high now, and then I'll be happy with the trade, at least with the entry. It's going to be interesting what happens with the news. 4 minutes. So the Euro trade is more or less similar to the gold trade. I was expecting in this zone here for a breaking structure. Finally got it here. So we had the lower H1 highs, lower highs, lower highs. There's a break. Entry based on the break here. Breaking structure there, entry there. 1-to-1 would have been easy. As you can see, that's the key price point where price just kept on rejecting, broke above it, using their support. 1-to-1 would have been the move. And it could do more. It is trending, so it could do more. But again, news, 2 minutes. 1-to-1 would have been a lot easier. Okay, it looks like everything's bracing for the news now. FTSE's bracing to be sold. Gold did not break that high. Unfortunately, that's not a good sign. That is not a good sign. But we're gonna wait. Entry may have been too early. I should have waited. But then again, with the news, you probably wouldn't have caught the move. I wouldn't have caught the move. So I'm gonna wait and reassure myself again that it's only a small loss. I don't like taking losses regardless whether it's big or small. I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels that way, but I have to reassure myself it's only a small loss. And I still would have had a profitable day if I take the small loss. So giving me everything else I wanted to see, so I can't complain too much. It just hasn't broken this high. Come close to it though. I need to see it. I would have liked to seen it before news. News in 1 minute. Interesting times. Interesting. Let me just zoom out so I don't get engulfed with all the price action that's potentially about to happen now. Let me clean up this. And then we're going to see how it plays out. Does it push for TP? Okay. Let me just set my TPs just in case it reacts a bit too quick. 33.65 for gold. definitely taking partials before that. But if we to see if it's gonna continue its trend. And okay, so we have news. Let's go. Okay. It's not the no reaction to news so far. Maybe it's a bit delayed, but I think I need to keep an eye on the FTSE one. That's the one I'm going to have to exit a lot quicker than the gold one. The gold should be a reversal if it holds and breaks above this high. And I could take my time with the exit. If it holds and breaks this high, that's a big if right now because it hasn't broken the high yet. Still got time on the H1. It's meant to be within this H1 candle that it breaks this high. And if it does, that will be the entry. So it's a bit early based on news, but maybe news is what it needs to break this high. Let's see if it was a equal high. That will fill me with confidence, a bit more confidence that it's going to break it. Yeah, it looks equalish. Equal highs down here. Potentially resistance. Resistance here. Resistance sold. Resistance being tested again. If it holds, it will sell. If it doesn't, gets above it, use it as support to go. And that's why I was waiting, or should have waited for this break or this high before I entered. But who doesn't love a little bit of drama? Getting in a bit too early. See how it plays out. If you're just joining on the chat, this is a prop firm challenge that I'm doing. First time trading New York session in a long time. And I'm selling, well, I'm buying gold right now and selling FTSE. I was waiting for a break in structure, but I didn't get one yet. So the entry is a bit too early. Hopefully with the news catalyst that should have just been released, there's a break in structure confirming my entry and a push in my direction. But right now, no break in structure. And yeah, we'll see how it plays out. This is maybe my 5th or 6th trade today, so I'm not trying to do too much for this trading session. See how these 2 trades play out before I make a decision what to do next. So there's a buy on gold. It's in demand. Even though it's trended down currently, it's in demand. There is liquidity underneath here, so it could drive down, get into here to be bought up. That would be the better buy. And I should have waited for a confirmation here for the break before I got to this buy because of that concern, that potential price magnet down there. And the FTSE one's a lot clearer. There is a big imbalance here. Consolidated through yesterday being bank holiday, came up here this London session, created a little pattern, and it broke structure clearly, you know. And then I expect this to be driven down to try to fill this gap a bit. So I'm looking for a scalp on FTSE to sell. I'm looking for a buy on gold. If you appreciate the fact that I am trading live stream like most people don't, and I am doing a prop firm challenge live stream like most people don't, put a like in the chat, get a few people on this, see what I'm doing, Any feedback, always welcomed. Let me know. And if you're looking at any pairs or instruments in particular, let me know, and I have a quick look to see how I read it, if it's in line with what you're seeing. So where we are on gold, looks like price is moving now. Let's see which direction it has decided it wants to go in. So it looks like it's pushing down so far, not concerning. For it to be bought, it should be bought here. I don't really want to see it lower than this. I want to see it be using all these candles here as support to push up further. I don't want to see it underneath here. So it needs to be here or nothing gold. Don't want to see underneath here. There's no reason it needs to come underneath here. So I could reduce my stop loss to say here. Coming underneath that further would just be silly. Will potentially indicate a continuation of the downtrend. So there hasn't been much of a reaction to news so far. Let me just check it out. Wow, price is just sitting around. Okay, so it was negative for the US. So that should mean, in theory, US related pairs, instruments should push. So gold should push. Euro should push. Euro's already moving before news anyway. This is pointless at this point. It's just not moving at all. Maybe it's going to move off stream. I'll make a decision later with FTSE. Just, I mean, stagnant. It's not even moving. That's the last 40 minutes. That's all it's done. So I'm going to take that into account. Maybe there's some price action on NASDAQ. No. Everyone's chilling. There is more news later, so maybe prices gonna stick around here, waiting for that. We're gonna see. Regardless, let me just have a look at NASDAQ again. There is a systematic setup that I was considering. Let's see if it's visible. Buy, there was a reversal. Buy. My initial thoughts will be the sell for the NASDAQ because there is no buying opportunity as yet. But the sell based on these equal highs is not ideal. So I would sit on my hands and wait. I would like to see a lot cleaner than this. It's not, this isn't a reversal potentially. This is just a pullback, then maybe there's a buy. Anyway, gold looks like it's moving and it's not moving in my direction. Let's see what's going on. So this close of this candle or the next 5-minute candle is important. Like I said, I didn't really want to see it down here. If the next 5-minute candle does not push it in my direction, I may take it for a reduced loss. Even though I'm not risking a lot, it's just not doing what I wanted it to do. I got in here early expecting it to break this H1 candle and it's not done that. It's still sticking around, so maybe the buy is still available, but it's not moving. I can't have that. It needs to move. Does it mean I'm being impatient? Maybe, but I've been looking at this since London session. And it didn't reverse in London session, and this is NY session now, so it should be moving. You have NY session, London session, volume from both. We have a news catalyst. Should be moving a lot faster than this, please. So the next 5 minutes is important for this trade here. I want to see it push up and just break above here. It's stuck around where I wanted it to. I said I don't want to see it underneath here. Didn't really want to see it trading underneath here. Just using it as support as I would hope it would. And now I just need it to break this high. That confirms there is a reversal. And that should be a second entry, to be honest. But like I said, I've already done too many trades today, so I'm not trying to do more than I need to. I just want to see this break, and then that's the start of the reversal. We could just trail the lows and see where we could take it. Just need to see it break this guy here. Come on. Back and forth, back and forth. No clear direction. Let's see how it closes. We're coming to the end of this candle. I need to see it break the structure in this hour. If it doesn't, I may be inclined to close the position. I may be inclined to do so. I really need to see it close in this, close above here within this hour. So it's got 19 minutes to do what I need to see. Okay, FTSE is moving at last. Let's see if we get this drive beneath here. Anything beneath here could reverse and start pushing back up. Hopefully it just drives it aggressively, tries to fill this gap. It's a very small place. It's nothing. It's just not really concerned about the win. It's just more about the read. So the reward isn't great in this play, but getting the read right is important. So I may close it for a small piece. It's going to look insignificant, but getting the read right is important. This being the reversal. Problem or why I won't hold it too long is because it could react anywhere here, and my entry, my stop loss needs to be above here. Just pointless. So it's just, let's see what that will look like. $8. It's just a pointless trade at this point, to be honest. With the FTSE, reduce the risk. Yeah, I'm reducing the risk. It seems to be respecting its previous swing highs, so let's see if it dries down. Small loss if it doesn't. I want to see it under here and see what happens after. Gold is still giving a lot of back and forth. So I wanted to see this 5-minute candle close above. Got 2 more minutes. Let's see if it does. If it closes above, the next one should break through. And if it doesn't, we've got a problem here on gold. It's just not moving. And if that's the case, maybe it's waiting for the news catalyst later in the afternoon, and I'm not going to stick around for that. Need to pick up my kids from school. So let's see if we can get some action here, please. So FTSE is finally breaking this low. Great. May close it. Or at least move to break even. What do you think? Break even? Shall I move it to break even, let it run? Try to fill this gap? That's the intention. It could react from here, it could bounce from there. But I would like to see it fill this gap. Move it to break even, or close the position because it's not doing nothing. It's not doing much. It's not doing anything, should I say. So it's broken out. I can see it pulling back in after it runs this low. After it runs this low, I can see it pulling back into my entry. So break even, probably get stopped out anyway. Any thoughts? Getting ready to close it. Yeah, I'm gonna close it. I don't want to see it come back to my entry. It just hasn't been moving. I was expecting the news catalyst to push it down drastically to fill this gap, and it's not doing that. So I'm going to close it and just focus on this gold trade, which has more potential. This 5-minute candle is important. I want to see it close above the previous one. And that could confirm the breaking structure, and it wants to go up. Anyway, it's not moving. See if there's any other opportunities while we wait. Reaction from this imbalance with DAX could be enough to take it up to break this high. This looks like just a pullback. It's not a reversal, so argument to be bullish on DAX. For that to be the case, I would expect price to come up here, pull back, then drive up to do so. Actually, that's not DAX, that's US30. So it should see support from these previous highs here. Yeah. And maybe uses that as momentum to drive up. Not doing nothing. US30, Nasdaq's very quiet. Guessing Nasdaq's waiting for the market open really before we get something serious. Gold is finally broken back up in my direction. Need to see it. Still need to see it break the structure gold. Come on. Need to see it break above this high. Close. Well, not even close above it. Just break it. And that confirms that my entry was not too early. Just need to see it above there. Yeah. FTSE pulled back into my entry. Bit of a waste of time, FTSE today. Hasn't moved at all. That was a trade. Could go a 1-to-1 there. Unfortunately, didn't happen for me. Hopefully gold holds. Come on. Really expected more from New York session. I know it's just the first hour, but really expected more. Only thing been moving is euro so far. maybe another day when there's less anticipation due to news, we'll get some more price action in one session. But yeah, I'll be trading New York session through this week. See if I could come up with a systematic way of trading it. If not, I'm just going to stick with price action, reading it purely based on structure. As I am doing currently. It looks like there's volume kicking in, but it's not really moving, is it? That's one thing I miss about trading stocks. You had volume indicators that were a little bit more reliable than tick indicators on Forex. Still can't get my head around tick indicators on Forex. One of the reasons I just completely got rid of indicators. You used to trade based on volume profile, but can't do that here. Alright, staring at this too long. Way too long. Come on. Euro could continue its reversal. So this is a reversal on Euro. It was trending up. Pull back here into the demand. Broke structure. Pushing back up. Continuing its reversal. Moving as slow as everything else, but at least it has actually done something. So gold has a similar setup. Has been trending. So if you have a zoom out, you can see consolidation, broke down, reversal, pulling back up. Same thing as gold. Consolidation, broke down, reversal, pushing back up. So if it's still in correlation, should get this continuation of the uptrend right now with gold and the euro. It's not why I took it. It's just based on price action. And just this is what I look for. Look for structure in one direction. Look for change in behavior, and I'll take the trade. Waiting for gold to prove me right or wrong. Do something. Okay, it's pushing against me. It's now back where I don't want it to be. It didn't break the high. We have 7 minutes. I said within this hour, I wanted to see it break this high. It hasn't broken this high. If it doesn't do so, I may have to leave it behind. Call it a day with gold as well. See what happened. So FTSE is still pushing down, but it's just too slow. Unfortunately, it hasn't been much to do today, people. I may hold it. I'll hold this trade if it takes another hour or two. But I wanted to keep this session brief because I do need to step out soon to go and get my kids, get ready and all that. Get ready for the school run. Unfortunately, gold doesn't care. Doesn't care. We're going to wait, see what happens in the next 6 minutes. If we do get the break in structure, definitely holding it. If we don't get the break in structure, if it doesn't break this high, that's the structure I'm referring to. If it doesn't break it within this hour, possibly it could be sold a little bit further down. Maybe gets underneath here. If it gets underneath there, argument to say it gets underneath here. very strong argument, and if it gets underneath there, then it's driving down for this demand further. So I would be inclined to sell it if it takes me out here, because this is a potential reversal. If it doesn't hold, it means the continuation is the play, the continuation to be taken down further, or even down here. It's kind of what happened to me. Can't remember what trade, but it happened to something similar happened to me this morning, possibly in gold. Can't remember. But if it does break this, it means this trend is still holding, and there's maybe a move, and maybe now, because it's New York session, there'll be a more significant drive further down, because it's been sitting here for about an hour or two. It's not been moving. Five minutes left. Hasn't broken the previous high. It's respecting the current structure. Could be sold further down. So that would mean this is a pole, this is a flag. All it's done is tap back into that flag, and it's going to be sold out. 4 minutes to find out. And that's definitely looking like more likely the case now. Another failed reversal attempt. I wanted to see something with this candle here, just didn't do anything for me. Entry was early. I have to sit back and wait. Look at that. After all that concerning talk, it starts pushing in my direction again. Come on, what are you going to do? Make a decision. 3 minutes. Yeah. Let me just check my risk. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to be patient with gold. I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to close it early. If it wants to stop me out, it's going to have to. It's going to have to. Been here an hour. I'm not going to be the one that makes that decision after an hour and just stop it because of me being impatient. If it stops me out, or if it wants to go further down, you need to stop me out to take that small win. I'll take that small loss. The market could take that small win. Hello, Ruth. Thank you for joining. Glad you're here too. How long have you been trading for? And what are you looking at currently? Pushing back up. Well done. Come on, gold. Okay, so US definitely broken structures, continuous uptrend, looking for this push into supply. Maybe there's a sell in supply, maybe it breaks. I'm more inclined to believe it breaks this zone eventually, and continues this uptrend. Reason being, because of these equal highs here. This demand created that equal high. Prices come back to that demand as reverse here. If it gets up above here to continue its trend, it needs to beat these equal highs. Swing traders, probably what you're looking at. DAX not moving. FTSE's not moving. Glad I got out that. It's just ridiculously slow. Gold not moving. NASDAQ's not moving. And US30 is not moving. Times like this makes me want to jump on USD JPY. It's always moving. Not necessarily in your direction, but it's always moving. Very slow morning or afternoon, depending where you are. Last, we flipping. Is that on the start of the new H1 candle? At last, we have a push as it breaks structure. Almost. Still needs to break that high. Celebrating a bit too early. Once we get a break in this structure here, maybe price is free to go, you know? Just need to see it above here, then I'm like, okay, cool. The entry's fine. Held where I wanted it to hold. That's good. Almost there, people. Almost there. This will be a second entry. Okay, so that's a break. That should be a second entry. So that's note to self. Second entry there for gold, and see how it moves. So maybe in the future, small position, small size for the first entry. Look for the breaker structure for the second entry. I think I'll play it like that next time. Just need break or these equal highs, and then I'm happy with the gold trade, happy with the entry, and the rest of it is looking for the exit. Okay, cool. So we've got the break of the highs. We're in action. Thank you. Just have to wait there for an hour. So now that should be the indication of the start of a reversal or a simple pullback. But regardless, it's a win. If it comes back here to stop me out, it means it's a loss. That's fine. But I'm happier now that I got the direction right. It's just a case of seeing where it wants to go next. So I would assume it continues breaking these previous structures. There is a supply zone here. It has more or less visited, but I don't think it really visited much. It tagged it there. It tagged it there and broke the low. So yes, this has been used, not completely, but it has been used. It could be just here, to be honest, and start selling. We'll see. Could be here. Just could mark out my potential obstacles for this trade. Could be there. So I'd like to see price get above this one here, 33.01. Take partials, maybe move to break even, leave a runner. Look at me getting excited. Got back to break even or under break even if I was to have moved it. Just want to see above here now. Come on. New H1. Broke structure. Let's see if it pushes. If anything, this has confirmed my entry. I'm happy with the entry. Now we're going to see if we could get a drive in this hour now towards TP. That's still a confirmation for me that the entry was right. Euro USD has done the same thing. DAX is not moving. Glad I'm out that FTSE one. Nothing else is moving. So gold is definitely the play for me this session. Let's see if it wants to drive. Oi, oi. So looking at gold again. It's finally broke structure. If you remember London session, I was talking about gold heading down to demand, looking for a buyer there. It's finally broke structure, giving me an entry, confirming my entry. So hopefully it holds now and just pushes up. That's where I'm at. Let me know what you're up to. So, yeah, a few questions for you. Have you found trading while looking after your son? I got three youngish boys, 8 and 4, twins who are 4. And I can only trade. I've only been trading London session. I normally avoid this time because trading sometimes affects my mood and I don't want that to be passed on to them. So I try to avoid trading at this time. How have you found it? And in regards to you being drawdown, what's your maximum drawdown? And yes, let me know. What's your maximum drawdown? I've been in drawdown so many times. And what I try to do is back test. Anytime I'm in drawdown, I just go back test. What works? Okay, this is work. Have I been doing that? And if I haven't, I need to get back to doing that. And if I lose doing that, that's fine. But if I continue the behavior that probably got me in drawdown, which wasn't something that I back tested, then that's the fix, right? So drawdown's not the end of the world. You just need to reassess, have a look at your behavior and see what's going on, how you got there, and make sure you're not continuing that behavior. But yeah, you probably know that. 4 years in. Can learn a lot in 4 years. Could pick up a lot of bad habits as well. Hopefully that's not the case with you. Let's see, come on. Haven't even done 1-to-1 yet, has it? No, hasn't done 1-to-1 yet. So my first obstacle is approaching. So it's broken these highs, confirming my entry. That will be my first obstacle. I would expect price to get there at least first. And then in theory, I should take partials and leave the runner. It's not a massive window. Let's see, if it's 1-to-1, maybe I take it. I take partials and leave the runner if it's a 1-to-1. And then leave the runner to see what it wants to do. For the stream's sake, I'm not going to hold it all day. This could take another 4 or 5 hours before it actually really starts moving. To get back up here, could easily be a day or two. Very nice entry from the lows though. Let me not get too excited. Still do have news in about 1 hour's time. Yeah, in about 1 hour's time. So in 53 minutes, that means it could just get here, news come in and just wipe it all out. So let me not get too excited. I am happy that it held and it confirmed my entry was right. Let's see if it wants to give me any more of a reward for my patience. Come on, I deserve it. Okay, so US played out as I expected, back into this supply zone. Would expect it to hold here and wait for the news. So Euro play with the entry being here, 1-to-1 was there. That's what I would have just done. Got out and left the runner, small piece, moved to break even and see what happens with the news. And that's essentially what I want to do with this gold trade. But gold has not got back into the supply. So we're gonna be patient with gold. Still got another 50 minutes or so before it's decision time. Gold. Okay, Nasdaq's pushing. So arguably this is a break in structure with Nasdaq approaching. We've got those highs I mentioned earlier. So price is trending down here from this high to this low. It should go within this zone and be sold as it did. Push down here. So now it's pulled back in here from here. Continuous downtrend, it should be held here and push to get underneath here. I would argue if it gets above this high, that means this is just a pullback. That's a break in that structure. That pullback's done and it pushes for those highs. Let me just have a look on H1. Yep. So we have a H1 trend here and we're approaching the break of that H1 trend. So if you get that break in this previous H1 high with this current H1, I would be inclined to call that a buying opportunity. So that's price. London session, push it up, pull back in, well, pre-New York session, slow down here, using this as support for that uptrend, then as support for the downtrend. Where price is now, that will be acting as resistance. You want to see it get above there, and maybe then get above here, and maybe then that's the buy to continue it up for these highs. Key price point, as you can see, the interaction here. So would want to see price get above here, use that as support to continue driving up for the buy. Stop loss underneath there potentially. If it is as clean as I read it. NASDAQ I've avoided because sometimes it does crazy behavior. So initial thoughts on NASDAQ now that it's moving. Similar argument for US40. So this is the supply that sent it down. Most people, when it gets back here, would be inclined to sell it. So that's a break and retest. Essentially, it should be sold here. If it does not get sold there and pushes up again, it means that's essentially a pullback here and push up to continue its uptrend. Let's see if it's trending up. Yeah, it's uptrend. Uptrend from the reversal down there. Reversal down here. Uptrend, and maybe it's a continuation. It looks like gold is moving. Got some price action at last. Okay, it's approaching my potential exit. I'm going to take partials. Give myself a bit of a reward. It's not a massive size, but one of these things you need to take into account. It could be a massive amount if I put more, but I didn't want to risk too much because I had made money already today. So I will take partials, reward myself a little bit for my patience, reward my good behavior. And I'll just call it a win. Just gotta wait a little bit. See if we get a little bit more. Let's get it to 33.01. And now I'll be happy with that. Alright. What do we say? 33.01. So almost there. 33 approaching. Come on. I should really leave it alone and see if it wants to break that zone. But I'm not so emotionally attached. I'm very detached to this trade right now. It's not a large position. And I do need to step out soon, but so I want to close something, then leave it. So I want to be completely detached. Completely forget about it, see where it runs to. Ruth, what's the percentage you're risking per trade? Is it 1% per trade? And is that a 10% drawdown as well? The 250? Come on. Just want to take some partials. Let's see, where did it get to? Okay, equal highs. Should break through this. Just have to be a little bit more patient. In an ideal world, I would like to take this for 1-to-1. And 11. Just by these highs. Got this obstacle to overcome. 1-to-1 would be there, and then we've got this main obstacle to overcome. That's where I'd like to see price in this flag, and pulled out, started a trend. I'd like to see price back up there. But that's another 3 or 4 hours. That's why I will take partials now and just leave the run and let it be. Let's see what that looks like in terms of reward. Yeah, not a bad reward. See if we could get up there, the runner at least. Okay. So Euro got to the supply zone here. Did I mark that out? Look at that. Got to the supply zone. Let me see why I marked that out. Okay, yeah, that's why. So this key price point here was acting as resistance. It broke it. Price is coming back, using it as support for the downtrend potentially. So it's tagged into the supply, using support and resistance, and it's being sold from there currently. Whether it holds, how far it goes down, whether it holds, don't know yet, but that's currently what I'm seeing. The sell from there. Maybe back to here, where it broke, that's the imbalance. Maybe back there to continue up, or it goes through. That'll be interesting to see if I get that read right. DAX is pushing. FTSE's not doing anything. Yeah, okay, so NASDAQ is now broke that high. So argument for the buy, as I said, as it breaks this high, that's a H1 high. That could be a buy straight away. I did a bit of back testing in NASDAQ. Quite confident? No, I'm comfortable with the read on NASDAQ. Doesn't mean I'll always get it right, but I'll be happy to trade that in the future, just not moving. And the risk with this gap down there is not ideal. Stop loss definitely there. If you were entering the buy to try run these highs, stop loss definitely there. And US30 is not doing anything. So I'm very happy with the gold trade. Seems to be the best setup, excluding the Euro trade, but the Euro trade I couldn't do anything with it. It was not moving when I had entered. A bit like this wasn't moving, but at least now this is moving within stream and you guys get to see this. So you see how I trade. It's the same setup, different, the same approach, different pairs. I want to see price moving. I want to see a generation of price action, creating liquidity, an inducement of, oh, let me not insult anyone, but some price action to make you want to jump into the market impulsive, an inducement of an impulsive behavior. Okay, so that for me would have been when it got up here and it sold there. So people selling based on trading with the trend may have seen that as an opportunity to get lower. Stop losses above here, and that's when price reversed to take them. Now arguably stop losses are taken, so it's done what it wanted and it's going to push down and stop me out. That's why I've adjusted my stop loss a little bit. I would like to see it push and get into that supply zone before it does any such thing. Give me a bit of a win and then I'll leave it. But that's what I look for every time I trade. Sometimes it works, and when it doesn't, it means the trend is continuing, and then in theory I could go in the opposite direction and continue with the trend. And that's what I did this morning. Made a bit of a loss back. Okay, so approaching the time that I need to step out, people. Hopefully this has been useful. I'm gonna hold this trade. It's finally broken structure. I'm gonna hold it. If it could get it up here, I'll take partials and then leave a runner. If not, so be it. I'm gonna see how this plays out, but I need to step out and pick up my kids and so on. Hopefully this doesn't stop me out now. That'll be annoying. But anyway, it is what it is. I haven't put too much faith in this. Market's been very slow. I'm okay with that. I'll be back here tomorrow to continue streaming, both probably London and New York session. Yeah. So if you've enjoyed this, hopefully you have, let me know. Comments, questions, and all that. Hit the like button, support the channel, and I'll continue the good work. I'll continue live streaming my prop firm challenge. This is Patrick signing out. Until next time, people. Peace.